Hello, I am Dr. Laura Ann Migliori Nolan, and my presentation is called Application of Machine Learning and Generative AI to Create Systematic Literature Reviews Using a Technical Action Research Approach. This was presented October 12th, 2023 at the Knowledge Without Boundaries conference, which is sponsored by the University of Phoenix. I am Dr. Laura Ann Migliori Nolan, and my research assistant for this project is ChatGPT-4. All right, so with that, I want to share with you just what this presentation covers. I give an introduction in terms of the project itself, what the research and learning objectives are. Also, this technical action research approach, it's a design that fits very well with this particular research study that I'm doing. The project steps I have taken, where I'm at right now with the project, and the timeline, and then I provide a summary as far as next steps, which also includes a research agenda and where this goes next after this particular project is done. So this project is about not just a problem, because it's a problem if we don't embark on this, but it's also a great opportunity. It's a great opportunity given the fact that there's been this release of large language models for advanced generative AI. It makes it now possible to optimize the literature review process, which can improve efficiencies and accuracies in the analysis, synthesis, and evaluation of scholarly literature. You know, those journal articles, those long documents. So that's where the opportunity is. The purpose of this particular project that I'm working on, it's to apply a technical action research design to actually automate the systematic literature review process. And the way that I'm going about that is using machine learning, which is 90% of this project. The other 10% is the generative AI process. So that's the approach that I'm taking, and then I'm using as an integrated framework both a conceptual and theoretical foundation for this framework. I'm integrating Bloom's taxonomy, which is a framework for how learning occurs, and specific to the higher levels of critical thinking, analysis, synthesis, and evaluation. And then probability theory, which also is part of very much the practices used in machine and deep learning theory and practices. So the research questions that go with this particular project are focused basically on getting the data and curating it to prepare the data sets, and then also a lot of what needs to be done with feature engineering. So my research questions include the following. What are the best practices for curating and preparing training data sets for machine learning models in the context of a systematic literature review? How does the size and quality of the training data set impact the performance of AI models in the literature identification and analysis? Which machine learning and generative AI models would be the most effective for the different types of literature and topics? And then the last two research questions, this gets into feature engineering, which looking at what are the features and data that are critical to train these models to effectively identify and analyze relevant literature, and how can feature engineering be optimized in this advancement of AI for automation of literature reviews. When it comes to technical action research design, the model is plan, do, check, act. That means I'm planning it out. I'm taking action on what my plan was. I then check it to see what went right, what went wrong. I adjust it, and then I take action, and then I do it again. It's a cyclical process, and it's part of exploring and discovery. So that's why this approach fits so well for this particular project. The research and learning objectives of this project are to gain insights on the advantages and limitations of using machine learning with generative AI for creating a systematic literature review. Also, to create awareness of methods and different AI tools to automate the research process and how to create a systematic literature review. And then to provide a research agenda that can be built upon for continuous learning and model integration as this thing continues to progress, which it will. So, first step, get the data. I have been searching for pre-existing literature review data sets, looking for labeled data, something that I can get machines to read rather than having to label it all myself. I looked through sklearn and Curis. I also found access to databases like Unpaidwall, ARXIV, PubMed, many of these, and they're different. They're at different stages of having labeling, which is very important for machine learning. But I did find, I was so excited to find the Semantic Scholar, which is somebody has already paved the way for us to do this. The long documents are ready for natural language processing tasks known as NLP. And so I have already requested, I've received the public API, which is the application programming interface needed to communicate and access the functionality that's available with Semantic Scholar. And getting these long documents, there are over 200 million journal articles to train data sets on and to be able to see how we could create a systematic literature review, having the machines do it for us. So this particular slide that you're looking at right now comes from Kenny et al. It is a group of scholars that have put together the Semantic Scholar data platform. It's open for AI research. There's a whole community out there, and what's bolded, you'll see there is a Semantic Scholar has 205 million journal articles, and it has all the services, these features of a data download. The field of study has been classified. There is advanced metadata that's been labeled. They have parsed for semantics, the text. There's a title and abstract search. And it's also suitable for natural language processing. It's a gold mine of a find for us developers in this field. So with that, this makes it possible to actually do this project. Now, like any systematic literature review, you have to pick what is it you're going to review the literature on, what's the topic you're going to take. So I needed to pick something, and for this project, it really didn't matter because the whole project is focused on automating the process. But in the process, I got to actually do a systematic literature review as part of my model building. So I said, let's pick a topic. I did some searching in the Semantic Scholar, and I found some journal articles on this phenomena called omission bias. You know, omission is not taking action. Commission is when you take action. But the phenomena is the research shows that there's actually a bias for when people take action. They could have well-meaning intention, but let's say it results in harm. They view that as more risky and bad than if you did nothing at all. So therefore, that's what's called omission bias. So I thought that would be interesting. And according to the Young et al. 2021, there's a need for future research in this area to understand this action-in-action decisions involving situations that could cause harm. So I thought, well, that would be interesting. Let's see what we can do with the machines in terms of that. So when I took that information and I applied it to the Semantic Scholar, I found, and I filtered for, I just want the discipline of business. I'm looking at 10 years of publishing dates, and it must have an available PDF, a long document that I can download and put into my program to do the machine learning. I found there's 13,400 journal articles. So it's more than enough to begin this first model creation. So I'm excited about that. Now, in doing a systematic literature review, I'm going to apply the Prisma 2020 process. And so what you see on this slide here is basically just the process itself. And if I was to do this manually, this would be a process that would be followed. First, you would plan. What is it I want to find in the systematic literature review in terms of what, why, how, and what are the results that I'm looking for. And then once you do that, you would identify, well, what is my data selection criteria that's important for me to capture? So if I was doing this manually, I'd have to go in and search different databases, read abstracts myself, try to figure out which journal articles fit, which ones don't. Again, I'm looking for the machines to do this. The next step is selection, the capturing of those journal articles that actually have the criteria that I said I want, and then to go to the next phase where I have the machines do the analysis of the comparison to see if it's worthy, if it actually fits my criteria. And then the last step of this process is the synthesis. It's where I apply the generative AI. After I have a good model, got good accuracies in there, then I can ask it to synthesize and see what comes out. What does it make of everything that I just trained it on with all these journal articles and sets like that? So that's the process that I'm doing. Now, this is the area of focus. So applying that systematic literature review with the PRISMA approach. And I have to give compliments to my assistant, ChatGPT-4, because I asked it, I said, tell me, if I were doing a systematic literature review on this topic, what should be the problem statement? What should be the research questions? What should be my objectives? So here on this slide, I have pretty much just paraphrased what ChatGPT returned, and also the key words that I need to use in my selection process, which you see here: omission bias, commission, mortality, judgment, decision-making, and pre-registered meta-analysis. So that's pretty cool. That's why I really like my research assistant. It helps when you're doing a project of this magnitude. Now, how do we get there? Okay, so this is the big audacious plan. I'm not here yet, but this is my next step in the process. I'm going to encode these documents now that I have access to Semantic Scholar. And my plan is to use the Google's BERT algorithm. I want to build a BERT, so to speak, their vanilla version, which is a pre-trained model, and I can use a subset of that. Transfer that learning that Google already has done to all these data sets that I'm pulling in from the Semantic Scholar. It's actually called the S2ORC dataset. I'm going to be able to get that through the API that I just got access to. So that's how I'm going to train the model to do that based on my criteria that I set forth for this systematic literature review. I'm looking to cluster the documents based on their content and my set criteria. And then I want to transfer that into the Google Vertex AI, which is a platform specific to machine learning. And then from there, I'm going to explore and see how to model the automatic creation of a systematic literature review. The next step in the process, now this is when I find my models have high accuracy, assuming I will get there eventually by God's grace. I want to then apply generative AI with the prompts to then have it synthesize. If it's already accurate in its analysis, the next step is, okay, now synthesize it and print out for me a systematic literature review. So that is the final goal of this particular project. And then the next step, the next project that comes after this one, is to actually evaluate those results. I'm going to be using the PRISMA 2020 27-point checklist so that I can really measure the accuracy to see how well this has been done. Again, we're looking at analysis, synthesis, and eventually the evaluation of the quality of this automated systematic literature review. So here's the timeline. Last couple months, I've been searching for labeled databases, and I did find that through the Semantic Scholar, and also using a plan for the PRISMA 2020. That's the pretty much detailed plan I'm following for this project to build a preliminary model using machine learning. Again, like I said, most of this project, 90% of it, is machine learning model building and fine-tuning. The other 10% is where I actually apply the generative AI to then synthesize what it's been trained on and to see how well it produces a systematic literature review. That is the prototype that will be the outcome of this project. And then from there, I plan in early January, March of 2024, maybe a little bit later, depending on how this goes. One quite never knows. It can take a little bit more when you're working with the data. It can be a little tedious, a lot tedious, I should say, and frustration that comes with that. But hey, we're in exploration mode, so we're going to see what happens. But the plan then is to evaluate the output of those models using the Prisma 27-point checklist. And so in summary, wow, we have so many advancements in AI with these amazing opportunities for us to optimize the research process by automating systematic literature reviews. This could not have been done at any other time in our history as we know it, but we now have this opportunity. And there is very much efficiencies that will come from proactively transferring learning from these large language models to newly trained data sets. By labeling, documents of the journal articles, these long documents to analyze, synthesize, and evaluate the literature. This opens up other opportunities as well to not just journal articles, but it could be any document. I mean, we're talking legal court documents, healthcare records, books, anything that's a long document, records. I mean, the process is the process. So this is opening up a pathway that could very much transform a lot of the way that we work and we do things with data. So the Semantic Scholar is an open data platform. It's a research corpus of AI containing over 205 million journal articles with classification. It includes advanced metadata, all of which can be used for natural language processing tasks. So it's very exciting. My future focus for this research is the continuous learning and model integration that comes after this preliminary project. And that is my research questions, how can continuous learning algorithms be employed to ensure that the AI models adapt to the evolving nature of academic literature? What mechanisms can be implemented to validate and assure that the quality of the updates are made through continuous learning? And then how can various AI models be effectively integrated to leverage their combined strengths for comprehensive literature reviews? And of course, what are the technical and practical challenges of integrating multiple AI models and the algorithms in a systematic review context? So the future is bright. It'll be a lot of fun. These are some of the main references that I drew insights from in putting this entire plan together, what I found in my exploration process. And then also I want to share with you my AI resources and data sets for research. This, again, Semantic Scholar right now is the one that I'm using. And there are others that I also explored. The Constellet, which is a data set builder, Kaggle, GitHub. A lot of these are good. They have some stuff that can be used. It just didn't have the all the things that I was looking for, where Semantic Scholar did. So that was my choice. There's also the ARXIV. It's a data site with a lot of journal articles. However, they're not peer-reviewed. ARXIV is not a peer-reviewed source. So I needed something that had that was peer-reviewed. I preferred that. So we're going to take a look at that. And then also Google. Google is amazing. It has many applications, platforms for developers to use for ML, the machine learning and generative AI. Google Quick Labs is for training. I use that. There's some quick knowledge, way to upskill and to keep up with this. And so that has been useful to me, as well as the Google Colab. I have a subscription to that I use for my model building and coding and so forth of that. So I just encourage those of you that are interested in that to to keep learning. And also feel free to reach out to me if this is of interest to you. I am looking to build a team, get with people that are particularly interested in this project. But there is a whole community out there, I'm finding, and connecting with different people. So doors open. If you are interested in this, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm Dr. Lori-Ann Migliore Nolan, and look forward to speaking with you. Thank you so much. God bless you.